Having gone through this briefly and saying the insightfulness, the primary fundamental insightfulness that is so pivotal to the onset of such journey, then the tedious layers upon layers upon layers required, procedural stages of development, and then the artistic incorporation of colors, not clashing colors, but cohesive colors, while still maintaining that fundamental beauty, thus making it attractive and attracting. Do you see what I mean? It's
Well,
quite...
what you do is you paint the colours in the second level, and then the third level you put a thin glaze over bits of it, which if you want it, put it back into the distance.
Okay, can you highlight that slightly? I'm just virtually with you. You're losing me.
With the main colours, they're strong colours.
Okay.
You put them on. But you want the feeling of space.
Right.
And in space, the bit right over there looks paler than this bit.
I got you. I'm glad I asked that question now. Now I
So
understand.
you've got to somehow keep the bit which is in the distance, but if you put a very, very fine glaze layer of white or cream colour on it, just very fine, so you can see it through it, but it pushes it back.
So makes it distant.
Yes, that's right.
And doesn't really affect its beauty.
And this is why I did it to that one over there.
That one there.
Because you notice that the lamppost is coming in front of it.
That's right.
And Big Ben is further back.
That's right.
Now, if I'd painted that the real colour that it was, Big Ben would be coming up in front of us.
Remarkable. So to make Big Ben seemingly distant as it is in that particular picture, you'd added some kind of...
You let it dry and then you put a very fine glaze over it and it will send it back into the distance.
Amazing. And there are two young fellows holding on to the lamp there, the lamp pillar. You know, how did you come about that, for instance? Were they actually holding on to the pillars?
No, my son was in the studio hanging onto the lamp, the doorknob.
Michael.
Yeah.
Wow. So it wasn't. So it was the door handle that it was actually holding on to, and then you superimposed it on the lamp post.
And I did a drawing of him, and then I got it doing that, and then I put it on the lamppost.
It's the thing as well. It's this gradation, stages.
I know.
So first he held the not the lamppost, the door handle,
right.
And then you made him pose.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
you had the door handle and his posture.
That's right.
And then you merge it onto your own imaginary painting and lamppost. And it just looks as though it's a supremely choreographed dancer in that picture.
Yeah.
That is just something special. And it's so fascinating that really and truly 1,000,000%, I know there's no such numeration, but beyond any shadow of doubt, the House of Parliament does look distant.
I know it does.
Further away.
Yes.
Than Michael and his friend look holding on to the lamp.
That's right, I know.
Wow. I wish I knew how you do those. That is something else. That's just...
I learned this from the chief restorer of the National Gallery.
That's Dr. Ruhlmann.
Dr. Ruhlmann, yeah.
Some things are just meant...
He gave a lecture. He gave 3 lectures at Camberwell. The first lecture, he showed the raw sienna bit. The second lecture, he put in the colours. I mean, the second lecture. And the third lecture, he pushed some of it back into the distance. And he also put on then the highlights and the...
Around, peripheral.
On it, or if you needed. The light in somebody's eye, that kind of stuff.
And looking at that, ma'am, now, thanks for diverting us. This is what I mean. There's so much to
this
actually...
is a skill.
It is indeed.
You know how to do it.
It is. But I also think, would you agree with me by saying one ought to be gifted primarily and then develop the talents with the skills to be a master.
If you're not gifted,
Mm-hmm.
you get bored with it and you don't do it.
I'm so glad I asked that
If
question.
if it's one thing you're really capable of doing, you
Mm-hmm.
think you want to,
Mm-hmm.
you go on fighting to get the information.
Mm-hmm.
You fight with yourself.
If you so, whereas if the gifts had been there, then it's about developing
Yes, that's right. Getting these ideas.
the
Yeah.
gifts, which before you then start incorporating, because to be skillful you have to practice and then
Yeah, I know,
develop.
you do.
And no, I'm not telling you.
No, the other thing is-
you are a living prime example of a gifted Renaissance old master style oil painting artist.
The other thing that
Britain's finest.
no, I don't
at that.
But anyway,
No. I've
One
done my
of the things-
researches, ma'am, on Renaissance oil painting artistry. I have done my extensive research. And
I don't know whether I told you about the effect of having babies.
I've sort of. You can tell us again.
I
please,
was
ma'am.
pregnant 4 times
Mm-hmm.
and had 2 miscarriages.
That I read, yeah.
Within 1 day of pregnancy, all my ideas vanished. And I got completely practical. I had to make sure the baby was going to grow. And I said to my mother, all my ideas have vanished. She said, don't worry, darling, they come back 24 hours after the baby's born, and they did.
It's remarkable. So would you call that hormonal or psychological?
It's hormonal.
Hormonal. Remarkable. Okay. I wonder what the equivalent of that would be for men. It would perhaps be hormonal as well. Obviously,
They
men
probably
don't have
don't.
children, but yeah,
Well,
probably
that's
don't.
why they're
go-
creative all the time.
Absolutely.
Women were busy having 15 kids and getting no sleep.
That's it. Getting. Well, you could, yes, ma'am, getting no sleep is so true. Yes, because not only through the gestation period, the postnatal, then you still have to feed the children
Yeah,
through
you
the
feed
nights.
them and they're waking up
And-
every third night screaming at them.
Absolutely. It is quite tedious, isn't it, being a mother? Motherhood,
But it's exciting.
Wow, I like that.
One of the best things I've ever done, I think.
I like that, man. It's exciting.
But I think to go on and on and on having them, and then they'll grow up and leave you, and then you're alone. But if you're a painter, you're not alone. You just paint these enormous numbers of pictures.
Remarkable statements. So you're never alone as an artist.
No, you're not.
And this then bears more reflection why fundamentally it is of utmost significance that you're gifted, you have talented. Otherwise you get bored at some point
No, I
in
know
time.
you do. Yeah.
When the integral fundamental talent is in there.
I know.
And it's why also it lays further emphasis why people shouldn't, like, if I don't have painting in me, for me it's music.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And if I now want to be like you, I wouldn't make it because this has never been, in
No, you
my
haven't. You
being.
haven't that particular.
That gift
I have.
in you
I think in pictures.
immensely, extraordinarily. In fact, I have no doubt there's divine interventions in your gifts.
My memory, one of my earliest memories of this was going into the nursery school and seeing a tiger with flaming red eyes in the
I'm
rhododendron
so
bush.
happy you said that. I was going to bring this up in an interview. Tell us about that, because
I looked in the rhododendron bushes and there was a tiger with flaming red eyes.
Oh.
And the flames were coming out looking beautiful, and I was terribly excited and rushed in and told everybody in the nursery school, and they were all terrified.
and it's very interesting that despite the flaming red eyes, you were not frightened.
No, it was a dream. You're not frightened of them. It's just a dream.
It was a dream, but it was not through the middle of the night. It was through the daytime.
From talking to the day.
So it was a vision that you
Yeah,
saw.
no, you do. Yeah. And I have them all the time.
It's remarkable.
Well, it was the first experience I had of something or other syndrome.
Yeah, there's a medical term for it. I can't remember it, but
I
you've
can't
told
remember the name.
I've got it because I've got some of your audio recordings at home,
Yeah.
and you mentioned it before.
The Charles Bonnet syndrome.
That's the one. That's the one.
Charles Bonnet.
And
He had the same, obviously, a thing when he was younger.
Who did?
Charles Bonner, he was a
Oh, I see. Who it was named after. I see. And I also noticed when you were not happy, you still did your utmost best to be creative and
Oh yes,
be
you've
happy.
got to keep the techniques up, even if you're. I mean, it's rather like learning the piano. You've got to have the technique of actually playing.
Interesting.
No, to me it seemed natural all the way through my life. But I used to learn to draw all the time. I used to draw everybody in order to see if I could.
Now you've
And I had one or two art teachers at school who really were very good at drawing and that.
not Campbell College, at school itself.
At school,
Elementary
yeah.
schools. Okay.
But actually, at school, I also had a wonderful music teacher who used to train opera singers.
Okay.
And he was so good, and I got terribly excited about it. And he taught me how to do it. And he said, you know, you'd be a really good opera singer. And I didn't become an opera singer because I realised that ladies' voices disappeared when they were 60. And the ladies in our family lived till they're 95.
So really, it wouldn't have mattered had you decided to be an opera singer.
Well, I should have then gone out of a career at the age of 65.
I saw what you mean.
So I stuck to painting. But there was a lot to learn from all these things. There's tremendous skill to be learnt from all of them. All these arts. You have a feeling you want to do it, but you've got to learn how to do it.
Right.
It's like watching you take photographs. And you may have a feeling about a photograph, but I watch you put these things together and I think, how the heck do they do it?
It's amazing. But trust me, ma'am, thanks for that, acknowledgements, but this is nothing compared to your artistry.
Well, I don't know.
But the details therein with your artistry, it's just second to none. Nothing else compares to them because the greatest artists are the old masters, the Botticellis, the Titian, the Van Goghs, Michelangelo. They were all Renaissance oil painting artists, and their masterpieces go for millions and millions.
But not only that, there were the paintings that they discovered in caves.
The Lascaux caves.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the desire to paint pictures was very, very early in humanity's development.
Absolutely, because that predates the Renaissance.
Oh, I know it does. Yes, absolutely.
And yet, you've brought me into another realm now, because the Lascaux caves. Sorry, it's just something else. It's literally painting in caves by the I don't even know what century to say.
Well, I don't think they know.
No, they were not dated. Nobody knew the precise dating. No carbon dating that I know of could be precise enough. But one thing remains: they are listed. It's not.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for mentioning the Lascaux caves.
But I'm sure when I was a young painter, I mean, everybody used to say to young painters, for goodness sake, give up painting, get a proper job, and don't be so silly. Well, I'm sure they said to the people in the Lascaux caves, look, instead of fiddling about in that cave, why don't you go out and do some real hunting?
That's so true.